This is called 100+ ways to get isekai'd in anime. I wonder how many times is it gonna be getting hit by Truck-kun, but AniNews, give it to me.
This is 100 ways to get isekai'd in anime. I know
Okay.
Truck-kun is widely believed to be the most likely culprit,
Number one.
but you'd be surprised to know incidents like that make up less than 1/5 of the total.
I mean, yeah. Even if it makes 1/5 of the total, I bet you that is such a big market share compared to everything else. Because yes, even if it's less than 20%, how many categories and groups of different ways are there to be isekai'd? It's probably like the rest of the 80% probably is made up of random like 1% here and there, right? And just Truck-kun having big market share. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, in a list where almost half the entries are isekai caused by...
This is what I'm talking about. Oh, reincarnation is 47, huh? Okay. Yeah, I mean, reincarnation how? Just someone dying, but getting hit by Truck-kun though.
Reincarnation, less than 20 are caused by trucks or some other...
No. This is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is such a big market share. This is so significant. Everything else, like you need like 3 separate big categories to compete with one Truck-kun. That's why I think Truck-kun is so dominant, even if it's less than 20%. Look at this pie. Do you see the light blue in comparison to all these little scraps that has to compete?
Other form of traffic accident. So, to start with the ones that did, first we have good old Rudy from Mushoku Tensei.
Oh boy.
The most standard case of getting hit by a truck to get isekai'd out there.
Everyone's favorite main character.
Sid in Eminence of Shadow, who, instead of saving some random civilian, ran in front of a truck out of pure delirium.
So we're defining separate incidents. Both by Truck-kun, one as an accident, one intentional. Yeah, he was trying to basically find magic. He thought that the bright light was supposed to be like the source of magic after he bashed his head on a rock in the mountains.
Next, we have the totally random bike accident from Reborn as a vending machine, then a typical car accident from Reincarnated as a sword.
Okay.
Catalina was run over while rushing to school after a full day of playing video games, and Ernesti found himself like a deer in headlights after a long day at work. Shin Wilford just wandered out into traffic during rush hour.
God, what a... Dude, this anime and the way... Like, this is one of the... And not every isekai needs to, you know, revisit what happened back in the real world. But this anime, I straight up forgot that this was even an isekai at some point. Because of how forgettable and unmemorable, like, the experience was of him getting isekai'd here. And, like, the fact that he cares nothing about his past life.
And Asahi got hit after saving a child from what would have been certain death.
Should have just let her die instead.
Truck-kun then got the best of these two villainesses in Most Heretical Last Boss Queen and Villainous Level 99, but somehow he also managed to get Sensei in No Longer Allowed in Another World.
And in this show, Truck-kun is a literal character. It's not a random accident. The isekai world has Truck-kun employees going around hitting people.
For this, what's funny isn't even the fact the year was 1948, it's more so a truck had managed to find him so far deep in the middle of this forest.
Yeah, like the vehicle, the fact that this thing shouldn't even exist in this timeline, right? I think. But also the fact that like this truck is sent by the isekai world.
Now, Kurihara also met her end when saving a child, while handyman Saito walked in front of a truck after getting fired from his job.
That is sad. Getting fired from your job, taking a box of all your belongings, the walk of shame, then you get hit by a truck. Well, maybe it's not that sad, because a handyman in another world, he had a pretty good life in the other world, right?
A truck wasn't what sent Kana straight to another world, but it did unfortunately leave her on life support. Only after a power outage turned that life support off did Kana finally find herself in the land of Leadale.
That's so fucked up. Bro, that's the thing, like, bro, having power shut off in a hospital when they're just like critical care like this, that's insanity.
A truck had also left Yosuke in a coma, sending him to a magical world for
Oji-san.
17 years before finally waking up again.
Great anime.
And that's pretty much it for trucks, but in terms of other vehicular related incidents, there's Yojo Senki's Tanya who was pushed in front of a train, Spirit Chronicles Rio whose bus was hit by a train,
It died in a bus, but hit by a train.
the world's finest assassin
Airplane.
who died in a planned plane crash, then Kazuma who, while he thought he was going to be run over by
Died by pissing his pants out of shock.
a truck, instead gave himself a heart attack and died on the operating table while the doctors laughed at him. That's
Oh, I don't even realize that the doctors laughed at him too. I know that Aqua did. But damn, the doctors actually laughed at him?
pretty much it for traffic incidents, so to move on to the next most common cause of getting isekai'd, we have the oh-so-classic overworked trope.
Yep.
That's right. The life of a corporate drone is just as deadly as Truck-kun. So, there's the salaryman Ryoma from By the Grace of the Gods, the world-class pharmacologist Kanji from Parallel World Pharmacy, Slime 300's Aizawa who passed out right in the middle of work, Yuji's implied overwork from My Isekai Life, then Rei from I'm in Love with the Villainess.
Man, what's the anime? Oh shit, I'm forgetting it now. There is an anime where Zenshu. Zenbu? No, Zenshu. The new Mappa Isekai, where it's like the main character is an elite animating director at an anime studio, but she literally literally overworks herself and gets I think she dies of overwork. It's not really explained based on the trailer. That's what my assumption was. Maybe she just got summoned though, but that's so meta how like rather than random office companies, now you have like an anime studio where the employee is so overworked that they just die.
There's also Ryota from My Unique Skill Makes Me OP at level 1.
That is such a generic title that makes me want to watch it. One more time.
The Villainess. There's also Ryota from My Unique Skill Makes Me OP.
It's like shit like this, you know? Like I see a title like that, I'm like immediately I know that my audience is gonna eat this shit up. This is like classic, like my radar for sensing shitty generic, you know, isekai / power fantasy shows. That's it, bro. That's it.
At level 1. Midori Akitsu who literally dropped dead on her doorstep, then finally Dahlia who died at her computer. So, while Truck-kun is certainly making the rounds on our isekai protagonists,
Overwork.
the corporate hellscape is right up there with it.
And I think it's pretty smart, right? Because this is supposed to be relatable, very, very relatable to Japanese salaryman or office workers who wants to have a second chance at life, right? The whole thing about isekai, the compelling part is how, you know, you die and you go to a different world because you may not have really liked, you know, your life in the real world. And in these corporate settings, right? All these salarymen being overworked and dying and having a new fresh start. It's a pretty compelling, you know, relatable experience for a lot of those older audiences.
This brings us now to the more obscure deaths, where we start to see some of the more creative ways to get isekai'd.
Alright, let's see it.
Pastry Mill Mortown got crushed by a candy statue, while our favorite slime Satoru Mikami got stabbed out of nowhere.
My hardware.
Mine was crushed by a pile of books during an earthquake, and Yamano Mitsuha somehow found herself falling off a cliff.
How?
The entire class of Soama
We blew
Spider
up there.
was killed in a
Great anime, unfortunate CGI battles.
massive explosion. Then Leon fell down the stairs after 100% completing the reverse harem ending in his dating sim.
That's not too different from being overworked and dying. Instead, he overplayed the game and died.
Hanasaki Rinko was pushed off a building by someone completely unknown to her, and Shina Kazuya died protecting 2 children from a knife-wielding criminal.
Giga Chad.
Tomokui Kanata had been brutally murdered by a deranged stalker.
This anime was very interesting because he already had powers before being isekai'd as a goblin.
And Luciel was randomly shot after a criminal had been taken down by the police. Next is—
Wait, what? The fuck? So the police took this guy down, but his gun is still up. And it landed? That's some bullshit, bro.
had been taken down by the police.
Damn.
Next is Urabe Yukito, who, with arguably the most—
Oh, this is the ridiculous anime, right? Where there was so many memes about the crazy CGI being used in this show, but I think it was trying to be like really ridiculous, right?
most ridiculous of them all, died drowning as part of some crazy cult ritual started by his very own father. There's a couple that died from terminal illness too, mainly with Hiraku from Farming Life in Another World, and
That's
Eileen
sad.
from I'm the Villainous So I'm Taming the Final Boss. Haruto straight up died in the bed that he was isolating him.
This anime was so trash, bro. Like, dude, pacing has no meaning in this anime. It blew my mind how just everything happened in the anime was fucking jagged. Like, nothing made sense. There was no semblance of any plot line just consistently delivering. It was just so fucking weird.
Himself in, and Will from Faraway Paladin died from reasons unknown. The rest are accidents caused by a god or goddess themselves, leading to the incidental isekaiing of people who weren't intended to die.
Smartphone isekai that God accidentally killed him, right?
There's Toya from In Another
There
World
it
of
is.
My Smartphone, Calvin from Black Summoner, Takumi Kaino from A Journey Through Another World Raising Kids While Adventuring.
Fuck this anime. Not really. It's a cute anime. It's just that this is the anime currently that we're currently fighting the copyright strikes with. Pony Canyon is the content ID holder on YouTube. Yet, just like Molebeat, which is a third party that goes into strike on behalf of other companies, Comzio GmbH or some shit, some fucking German company is up my ass trying to do this shit. Don't worry, we're about to beat the first strike and the second strike, which is again so fucking annoying that they had fraudulent strike. So YouTube themselves took back the video which was striked in a batch. 4 videos were striked under one strike. One of them was so fraudulent that they pulled out, and then they resubmitted it, and now I got 2 strikes off of the same fucking 4 videos. Anyways, we're almost done with the first strike.
Kids While Adventuring, then Kaoru in I Shall Survive Using Potions. Lastly, there's the standard reincarnation of Anisphia from Magical
Yuri anime.
Revolution, and that's all the ways to get isekai'd through reincarnation.
This anime was actually really good. Now, I don't remember too much about it other than the Yuri plotline. But the fight scenes, though, dude, the battle animations for this anime, now I watched this when I was definitely less attentive to production value, but I remember this anime just being top quality.
Revolution, and that's all the ways to get isekai'd through reincarnation. There was 19 from traffic accidents, 8 from overwork, 6 from external acts of violence, 5 from completely random circumstances, 4 from accidents caused by God, 3 miscellaneous, and 2 from terminal illness. That's less than half of all the isekai on the list, so to continue on to the next largest category, next
summoning.
we have isekai by higher power / magical summoning.
One of my favorite setups of isekai. Also, I'm surprised that there hasn't been any overdoses of like drugs or like, drinking that cause, deaths into isekai, but I think that this is definitely one of my favorite ways of isekai setup. Kumo desu ka is the exact perfect one. Because like summoning, like Arifureta or Failure Frame, it's interesting because again, you have a whole class dynamic. Everyone already knows each other. There's like the cool kids, there's the jocks, there's the, hot girls, there's also the normies, the nerds, the shut-ins, right? There's all stuff like that. An existing hierarchy makes it very interesting as they continue to get new powers. And now suddenly those dynamics change with some people behaving differently because of those powers. And then it's even more fun when you don't even know who everyone is, because rather than being summoned, you're all like reincarnated in different forms. Now it's a guessing game of who is who. That's why Kumo desu ka is like one of my favorite isekai setups.
Technically a lot.
Shield Hero is not that to me. Same with wrong way to use healing. Wrong way to use healing magic, you summon 3 people, the dynamic is pretty boring. I care about a grander like school classroom aspect. Shield Hero is also 4 random strangers being summoned together that has no, the whole classroom, hierarchy, already like social dynamics at play. That's what I'm talking about.
A lot of the previous were made possible by a higher power too, but the fundamental difference with these is that the protagonist didn't have to die first. The main cause of them getting isekai'd is their summoning. So, first we have those summoned directly by a god or goddess themselves, starting with Makoto from Tsukimichi Moonlit Fantasy.
Good anime.
Next are the 3 girls from the vintage anime Magic
Damn, this is old as fuck, the art style. Holy, this is like 80s, 90s shit.
Knight Rayarth, and after that is Hajime's class from Arifureta.
Yep, there it is.
The problem children from another world were invited by what I assume.
Oh, this one gets constantly it's never really made it into a poll. I think it made it into a community poll once, but I have heard a lot of people asking me to watch this.
Is God, and the cautious hero was handpicked by Restarte herself.
Great anime.
Yusuke and his friends are transported back and forth by this mysterious half-faced.
What the hell is that guy's design? Bro's got hand bra with like a star on his crotch.
Person, and Iruma was taken to the demon world after his parents sold him.
Grandpa, thank you.
The old Deus Tet.
By the way, the parents sold off to a demon explanation. I think that's cap. It's been so long since I watched Iruma-kun, and I will do a re-reaction when a release date for season 4 is out, so we can watch seasons 1 to 3 with a new style of pausing and fully just breaking down the the anime episodes. But I think there's something way more due to the uncanny resemblances of Iruma, who was supposed to be just a random human, but with the previous Demon King. There's so much different parallels that they, I think, hint at throughout the seasons.
To a demon. The old Deus Tet transported Shiro and Sora after defeating him in a chess match, and Mimori's entire class was summoned by a goddess while on the road during a field trip.
That episode 1 was very fun. This anime was so fucking trash though. Failure Frame truly lives up to its name. Bro, the usage of the CGI was so trash in this show. And CGI doesn't mean it's bad, but like the way that it just is so jarring, bro. Every frame is like 2D for a bit and then boom. If the character's like looking away or if it's like really dark, they immediately go to 3D models. It's like a fucking whiplash. Holy fuck, this anime was so ass, bro.
During a field trip.
Episode 1 was very fun though. Still, episode 1 was very fun.
Lastly, we have Hiragi Seichi from the Fruit of Evolution, Hinata and Tsukasa from Fabiniku, then Haruka and his classmates from Loner Life in Another World.
Yeah, this is a cute show. It was fun.
All of which were transported by God to defeat the Demon Lord or some other mission like that. That's the extent of summoning via a higher power, but sometimes our
Yo, what's up with these fucking medieval fantasy lands summoning Japanese high school kids to defeat their fucking demon lords? Do you not have any better options? The more I think about it, I mean, it's a it's a time-old tale of like, you know, like, oh, the fate of the world is in the hands of these middle school or high school Japanese kids. There's really no one fucking else. Well, there's the whole relatability part of, you know, what the anime is trying to market towards, right? In order, because it's the kids watching the anime, but like, god damn, they're not like summoning a bunch of like MMA fighters. I don't know, like elite athletes, like military people. None of that.
Protagonist will just get summoned by the people.
Also, it's only from Japan. It's never any other nation. It's specifically from Japan.
Saito was summoned by the first-year mage Louise, randomly plucked from Tokyo when her summoning ritual went wrong. Shinku Izumi found himself transported out of school, summoned by a princess and her dog wielding some sort of magical weapon. Naofumi and the others were summoned by the kingdom's mages, while a very similar type of summoning happened to Saito in The Realist Hero. A princess had completed the summoning circle for Taichi and Rin in Isekai Cheat Magician, and Mukoda Tsuyoshi was summoned as more of an afterthought for the kingdom in the—
Great anime. Campfire Cooking in Another World, genuinely great anime. This is the anime that convinced me that sometimes a chill slice of life isekai is like all you need. Rather than taking it serious of like, oh, we have to defeat this demon lord, and usually because of how generic and trashy all these isekais are, of just like a goal of like defeating the demon lord, it's really boring. And the production value is usually garbage too, so the animation, the hype, there's like nothing really, you know, endearing about it. But Campfire Cooking in Another World was like, nah, we're just gonna be cooking, we're gonna be traveling, there are some fight scenes here and there, but bro's just chilling, and I love that.
The Campfire Cooking isekai. Yusato was summoned by the king in the wrong way to use healing magic.
Bro got accidentally summoned.
Sei Takanachi by the kingdom's mages after a long day at work. The pro wrestler Animal masked by—
Okay, what is this? Wait.
Takanachi by the kingdom's mages after a long day at work.
Yeah.
The pro wrestler Animal masked by a princess
wrestler?
he then proceeded to suplex.
This is ridiculous! What the fuck?
Video by another set of mages seeking the hero's help.
This anime also is a perfect example of the chill, you know, slice of life isekai. Episode 1 is so trash though, because I thought it was gonna be a serious isekai about like, oh, bro got summoned, but he's actually really OP, and he's now, you know, being discarded by the other people because there's a real hero. Like episode 1 was fucking trash. But episode 2 onwards, I was like, oh, I see what they're trying to do with this anime. And then it became so much fun. This is genuinely such a good show to watch. Like the character interactions, the way that the different, you know, characters interact with, like, let's say the demon lord or like scary people like that. It's just so fun. It's genuinely so good. Yeah, it did subvert my expectations, but I think a lot of people just kind of dropped it hard immediately after episode 1 because of how generic it was.
The hero's help, then the lost ones through the kingdom's magecraft in the executioner and her way of life. Setsu and his classmates were magically summoned like all the rest, while Yogiri and his classmates were—
I like this again. This is again like the whole classmate, you know, interactions, right? This is the pacing for this anime was so fucked up though. Instant death? Like people say that Classroom the Elite pacing is fucked up. This anime I think is worse. Bro, the speed at which it just went from one place to another, holy shit. It was still an enjoyable watch.
Were transported by her. An instant changeover from the highway straight to wherever this is. Lastly, there's Conception with Itsuki's magical summoning.
Why does this look like ReZero's author? Sorry, Otsuka. Not ReZero's author. I meant the artist of the ReZero light novel. Look at this guy's face. Maybe the eyes is a bit different, but something about this reminds me a lot. It's not completely about the eyes, but it's this facial structure. The overall facial structure is exactly how Otsuka draws, right?
Straight into a dungeon. So, that's 14 isekai where the protagonist and or their classmates were magically summoned via some kingdom or person within that.
I'm a big fan of this kind of summoning. Again, my favorite type. The best template of an isekai for me is Kumodesuka. Summoning / reincarnation, right? Where it's just like, it's not summoning. They kind of all died and spoiler, a bomb blew up in the fucking class. Don't ask how. And then the souls were, implanted into other people. And then there was also a change in time. As if already you don't even know the identities of other kids because, they're reincarnated through these souls being implanted into other people. But there's also like a timeline of like where the main character gets reincarnated versus everyone else. It's just so good.
That kingdom, then another 12 where it was the direct power of God themselves summoning them. It brings our totals now to this. Okay. 73 isekai covered so far, where 35% of that is from magical summoning and the other 65% from reincarnation.
Yep.
The next largest chunk comes from video games.
Yes, and whether or not you want to admit it, like again, people are so convinced that Sword Art Online is not an isekai. But like those people I don't think even understands the term isekai and what that means. Isekai means other world in Japanese. Reincarnation is tensei. You don't need to die and go to another world. You can have those as isekais, but all that matters is another world. And at that point, now it becomes your personal definition, right? Of like, do you consider space travel another world? Yeah. So if you have an anime about like intergalactic space travel, you're going from one world to another. You could say that is an isekai. Here's another one. You're playing a video game. And now, by using full dive technology from SAO, you are now in the world of Aincrad. Is that not another world to you? If it is, then it is an isekai, but a lot of people have this firm belief that SAO is not an isekai. I think it is an isekai.
So, to switch over to the isekai like those, first we have the all-time classic Sword Art Online. The game itself doesn't become real, but the stakes of becoming trapped in it very much are. Yuna was transported to World Fantasy Online after—
I heard this is peak. I'm not sure if my judgment on this anime is correct, but I feel like this is kind of like Bofuri, where it's like you're just doing cute shit. You're just doing cute shit and you're dominating in a different video game, like Bofuri. Is that it?
After opening a shady present from the administrator, while the players of Log Horizon found themselves in the game of Elder Tale for real.
A lot of people say Log Horizon is so good, yet I never got this shit recommended. SAO made it into a community series, but Log Horizon never got it.
Suzuki Satoru awoke as Momonga
in a new
world after the game Yggdrasil was supposed to shut down, then Sakamoto Takuma was summoned into
oh lord, this anime, bro, the fan service anime.
A world similar to Cross Reverie as the demon lord that he was always playing as. The virtual world of Amatsuki had one day
this looks so old.
Become real while Tokidoki was in it, then Kon Hokaze was brought into this new world after accepting a random game invite.
Okay.
Tsukasa of Dot Hack Sign had his
Dot Hacks. Yo, these are some old titles, right?
His mind trapped in the MMORPG The World, while Kaga Michio was sucked into a video game after exploring strange online games over the internet. Ichiro Suzuki suddenly awoke as Sato in the game he was
oh yeah, this is another show you guys keep recommending to watch in the polls.
Programming the night before, and Akira Ono wound up in his own MMORPG.
And this literally has a sequel happening right now. Mao-sama retry, right?
After trying to shut the servers down. Ark woke up as his skeleton knight avatar in the game world he once played so much, Kagami awoke as the female version of the great sage character he played in the Arc Earth Online VR MMORPG.
Sus.
Then Shin was first trapped.
Oh my. This is like the benchmark of what I consider mid. Maybe not even mid. Bro, this anime literally started to fall apart as it reached the end. You don't believe me? Go check out the finale. Bro, it's actually hilarious. How like people's faces weren't even properly matched with like the eyes and the nose and mouth. It was this anime, bro. And the fucked up part, we've dropped a lot of shows in this channel due to a lack of interest from my immediate audience. Yet Newgate, y'all watched it till the fucking end. Why? Why? It blows my mind that of all anime, like we had to drop Frieden, we had to drop Apothecary Diaries, and only now after a year am I restarting those projects after my channel's gotten big. This shit, you guys just kept watching it till the fucking end, and I think it's not that you guys like mid. I think it's the fact that the source material, I think a lot of the audience watching this had a very good experience with the source material. A lot of people say that the source material is actually very good. But the anime adaptation of this, oh my god. And here's the really funny / fucked up part. I heard that the studio that made this shit, here, let's see this. Newgate anime. Alright? We're gonna do a little bit of a detour right now. Newgate anime, bro, right? Who did this shit? Let's see it. 6.43. The score should be way lower than that. This is like a fucking 5 point something, bro. But the studios is this and this. Yokohama Animation Laboratory and Cloud Hearts. One of these studios shut down. Yokohama. Let's see this one. Studio shut down. Nah, it's Animation Studio Cloud Hearts. So it's Cloud Hearts. Remember this one. Shit. Ah, fuck. Bring it back. Right over here. Animation Studio Cloud Hearts may have gone under with the official website closed. Whisper Me a Love Song. That's another one. That's the Yuri anime that was happening before. Remember that shit? That shit literally just stopped producing. Like, there was such a big hiatus on it. Like this anime. You remember this one? Yeah. If anything, the fact that Yokohama Animation Lab declined to comment is actually a really bad sign and only adds to the suspicion. If everything was well, you'd think they'd at least make one kind of statement or even a denial. At this rate, I'd be surprised the Blu-ray actually had PowerPoint presentation files for the last 2 episodes. Yeah. I'll put a file for the Newgate fans. At least Newgate actually finished, but like, goddamn, bro. The anime was so bad that the studios involved with it literally fucking shut down. That's how trash that studio was.
In a virtual game turned real like SAO, then transported 500 years to the future of that world after beating it. So, that's 14 more.
Like, the funniest shit is that this dude is basically the Black Swordsman. Except, you know what they call him? The Black Blacksmith. Which is so funny because they double up in the black, which makes it sound redundant.
500 years to the future of that world after beating it. So, that's 14 more isekai now related to video games, bringing our total to 87. The rest are causes a bit more unique or shrouded in mystery, so they'll be in a category of their own.
Okay, miscellaneous.
There's Gate, where the transportation between worlds is facilitated by a gate, War on Geminar, where the protagonist is kidnapped then transported, and Ride, where the magical summoning is triggered by a mysterious...
I feel like the target audience for this anime might be women. That's an aggressive, you know, that's an aggressive like belly like / you know, decline fan service over here.
Crystal, then Fushigi Yugi, where it's the incantation
old
of
anime.
The book. The characters of Drifters were transported via doorways in some strange matrix-like passageway, while Yuya could traverse between worlds using the portal.
Same character, by the way. This anime, it was a guilty pleasure. Genuinely trash anime, but it has its moments. And the moments usually are back on Earth and not in the other world, as everyone like breaks their neck trying to stare at this kid walking down the street. Like, everybody just glazes him because he's so hot. He's so like fit. Oh my god, glaze. It was so funny. It's like it's so ridiculous and over the top, the glaze for when he basically turns into an idol. It was funny to me. I enjoyed it a bit. I honestly did enjoy it. Now, is the story deep? Fuck no. The action sequences, I don't care. I don't like the fight scenes are a snooze fest. I do not give a fuck about the fight scenes or whenever we go to a different world. But when we're back on Earth and everyone's just like glazing him and there's these ridiculous character interactions, especially with him and the fucking teacher too, bro. Like he wrestled a bear. The whole class goes camping. It's a camping arc and a fucking bear shows up out of nowhere. And he like wrestles the bear in front of the teacher and the kid, and then the teacher starts getting so horny for the kid. Like it's so over the top stupid like, fan service, but it's like a really guilty pleasure to watch. It's fun.
In his grandfather's house. Now, I'm not too familiar with how they travel between worlds in Digimon, but from what I've read, you need a Digivicer Trainmon. A pillar of light transported Hitami Kanzaki in the vision of Escaflowne, then Shinichi Kano was kidnapped and taken during a job interview that was looking for otaku.
What? Kidnapped during a job interview? They were specifically looking for otaku? Why? Because otaku probably has no immediate friends or network circles that would be worried if they were missing. If that's the case, that's actually so sinister. If the whole premise is they're just looking straight for neets and otakus because they are the demographic of people where if they went missing, no one would really know. Bro, what the hell?
The high school prodigies found themselves in a fantasy world after their plane crashed, while Wendelin woke up as the 8th son right in the middle of eating.
Wait, this is old. I was gonna say, yo, 7th prince? Nah, 8th son, baby.
Dinner. A random portal had opened up under Kinji in the Dungeon of Black Company.
Okay.
The members of the Suicide Squad were flown in via some magical portal.
Yeah.
Arata and Awakumi switch places like it's Freaky Friday, then Sasaki can go between worlds with the power of his newfound bird friend Peeps.
I heard this is pretty
Lastly,
good.
there's Yuto from Master of Ragnarok, who found himself transported to Yggdrasil after taking a selfie in front of some supposed divine mirror. So that's 16 more miscellaneous ways to get isekai'd, bringing us to a total of 103 now.
We got a couple more left.
Let's finish things off with some of the more mysterious ways, then tally up the final percentages from everything. There's ReZero, where Subaru just appears in the new world.
My interpretation of this still... What's the leading theory? Well, I think the most like base level thinking is like Satala somehow summoned them here. But I think there's a lot more to it than just that.
Sunny Boy, where the entire school ends up in this void. Cheat Pharmacist Slow Life, where his circumstances aren't really known. Then Grimgar of Fantasy and Ash, where the whole...
Oh yeah, this is another anime that it hasn't been mentioned. Hasn't been mentioned in the community polls that much, but I hear Grimgar is pretty good, but not good enough to actually be making it onto the polls, huh?
Class is mysteriously summoned. That's 107 ways to get isekai'd total, so to wrap things up and summarize it nicely for you, 44% of them were from reincarnation, 24% from some form of magical summoning, 13% from video game related incidents, 15% miscellaneous, then 4% completely unknown. To break that down even further, only 18% were from traffic accidents, of which Truckun wasn't even all of.
That's actually, yeah, the reincarnation definitely is bigger bulk. It's such a significant portion though, right? Aside from reincarnation, Truckun still makes up like the second biggest bulk of the market cap here of, you know, ways to get isekai'd.
Technically, God was solely responsible for only 11%, but if we take into consideration their involvement in reincarnating those who died, that number would be so much higher. In any case, that's 100 plus ways to get isekai'd. A fun video I thought I'd share before the holidays.
This is very fun.
This actually took quite a bit of time to make, so if you liked watching it, then consider leaving a like and subscribing.
Yes, sir. I think people really like chart style videos or analytical representation or stuff like that. And, you know, like 10 ways to do this, top 5 things you need to look out for, 100 ways to get isekai in an anime. Pretty smart concept. It's cool to see, you know, all our isekais that we watch and haven't watched, you know, be represented there. But here's the link to Mr. AniNews' video. Please go give it a like. Support his channel if you want. And I'll see you guys next time.